And both of you took a position just a couple days ago against the latest COVID/stimulus bill. I'm not sure what we're calling it now, because almost on procedural grounds first, and as we learn more about it, it's just chock full of things that are good for Washington and not necessarily good for people. Congresswoman, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, this bill, again, I mean, over 5,000 pages long. I checked the time we got it, I think at 2:34 p.m. In the afternoon, and we're told that we'd have votes. I think the first series was 4 or 5 hours later. And naturally, I and my staff, we started diving right into it, using the search function to try to look for certain areas with red flags, but just understanding that there was no way that we, even as a team, could get through this legislation to actually know what's in it. And what we get, and I'm sure Tom gets maybe something similar, is kind of a section by section summary that's provided by the Democratic staff and the caucus. And I started scrolling through that, and even in that, I saw a lot of problematic things. But once we started going through the text of the bill itself, there was a lot that was in there that was not in the section by section summary. So no member of Congress can say that they went through and read this whole thing before they cast their vote. So that number one should be a disqualifier on its own, because as Tom and I, we've been around long enough to know that these things get thrown in there intentionally in the dark of night and are not talked about. They're not in the section by section summaries because they know that people would probably have a problem with it. And the massive hundreds of billions of dollars that went to corporate special interests and foreign governments and all of these other things, while saying, hey guys, this is a great COVID relief stimulus bill, here's $600, is worse than a joke. It's offensive and a slap in the face to the people who, have been sitting in their car for hours in food lines trying to get some food from the food bank and worried about eviction as we head into Christmas and in the new year. There's just it was offensive to me, and I got pretty pissed off about it and knew that there was no way that I could support this thing.
Yeah, we control F these bills as much as we can, Matt, which is Tulsi talking about the search function. We just control F, control F, control F. My staff is plugging in keywords and trying to find out what's in this bill. And this is, I think, something happened that's I've never seen happen in Congress. They created a bill so big it collapsed on itself, and it crushed a few of them in it. Like, they always try to get too cute. I say they put all the hostages in one room and won't let anybody out until, they get a deal. And so the 12 hostages were the 12 appropriations bills. Those were in here. And then the stimulus payments, those hostages were in here. And people really got offended, as they should have, that the relief for them was tied to, for instance, $700 million to Sudan, or $10 million for gender programs in Pakistan. And the irony is, they thought they would force a lot of Republicans and Democrats to vote for things they didn't want to vote for if they tied it all together. But what they did is they created this immense backlash from the public. And you saw the president, whose Treasury Secretary Mnuchin was negotiating this bill with Pelosi and McConnell. Well, the president came out against the bill once he found out what was in it. So it was too big for even the president to know what was in it. And I think that's when something has finally just gotten too big, when the people supporting it start running from it.